By the time you blow out the candles on your 60th birthday, nearly half of your microscopic kidney filters have already permanently shut down. You are operating on borrowed time, and the dinner you are planning tonight might be pushing you closer to a dialysis machine. But I am going to reveal one specific cellular trigger at the very end of this video, a strange biological mechanism unlocked by a very particular seafood preparation that changes everything you know about aging kidneys. You might think that chronic fatigue, a metallic taste in your mouth, or slightly swollen ankles are just normal signs of getting older. But here is the terrifying truth most people ignore. Those are not signs of aging. They are the silent screams of your kidneys drowning in metabolic toxic waste. And this is exactly where 99% of adults over 60 make a fatal miscalculation. They assume that because their doctor hasn't prescribed medication yet, their renal system is perfectly fine. But the reality is that irreversible kidney damage is totally asymptomatic until you have lost 70% of your function, your independence, your ability to travel, and your freedom to live without being tethered to a medical facility all depend on what you put on your plate over the next few months. We are going to break down 4 highly specific aquatic lifelines, 4 fish that act as natural scrubbers for your blood. But do not click away, because the third fish on this list is something you have likely been avoiding your entire life due to a massive diet industry lie. Let us dive into the underlying mechanism of why your body is suddenly attacking itself. Your kidneys are a sophisticated chemical plant responsible for filtering 50 gallons of blood every single day. When you were 30, this plant had millions of resilient workers called nephrons. But as you cross the threshold of 60, those workers begin to die off from years of high blood pressure, hidden sugars, and microscopic inflammation. And here is the exact moment everything spirals out of control. When you consume the wrong types of protein, particularly heavy red meats or highly processed deli cuts, you force your remaining exhausted nephrons to work triple shifts. They begin to leak. They push vital proteins into your urine while leaving lethal toxins circulating in your bloodstream. This is a fast track to losing your bodily autonomy. However, the right type of aquatic protein can actually halt this inflammatory cascade. Let us look at the first aquatic savior, rainbow trout. Most older adults completely misunderstand how dietary protein impacts renal pressure. They either eat way too much of the wrong kind or they starve their muscles out of fear. But this is the trap that leads to severe frailty and deadly falls. Rainbow trout slices right through this dilemma. It is an extraordinary source of highly bioavailable amino acids, but it carries a remarkably low renal acid load. When you consume a heavy steak, your body produces a massive amount of urea and acidic byproducts that your kidneys must frantically neutralize. Trout, on the other hand, digests with such molecular efficiency that it leaves almost zero acidic ash behind, and that is a game changer for anyone trying to preserve their kidney function. But there is a hidden layer to this that most nutritionists completely miss: the phosphorus trap. As your kidneys age, they lose the ability to excrete excess phosphorus. When phosphorus builds up in your blood, it literally pulls calcium out of your skeleton. It turns your bones into brittle chalk while calcifying your heart valves. Rainbow trout is uniquely low in this dangerous mineral compared to pork or chicken. You get the muscular fuel you need without the skeletal destruction. Let us look at a real-world example of how this plays out. Imagine a 65-year-old man who switches from a daily turkey sandwich to a simple trout fillet. Within weeks, the microscopic pressure inside his glomerulus drops, allowing the tissue to finally rest and repair. But how you prepare this fish is the difference between medicine and poison. If you fry it in vegetable oil, you instantly destroy the delicate lipid profile and coat the protein in advanced glycation end products. These compounds aggressively scar kidney tissue. The only acceptable way to prepare rainbow trout for renal optimization is gentle poaching or low-heat baking. Use a glass baking dish, a splash of water, and a cover to trap the steam. Season it solely with fresh rosemary and black pepper, completely omitting the salt shaker. Sodium is the absolute enemy of renal blood pressure, And listen closely, because what comes next is crucial for your longevity. The second fish you must integrate into your routine is the humble sardine. People laugh at sardines. They think of them as cheap survival food in a tin. But the real joke is on anyone paying hundreds of dollars for pharmaceutical fish oil while ignoring this aquatic goldmine. Sardines are nature's ultimate anti-inflammatory bomb. Because they sit at the very bottom of the oceanic food chain, they do not accumulate the heavy metals like mercury that destroy neurological and renal tissue. Mercury is a potent nephrotoxin, meaning it directly targets and kills kidney cells. Choosing massive predatory fish like swordfish is a fast track to chemical poisoning. But sardines offer a loophole in this toxic modern food web. They are loaded with biologically active EPA and DHA, the specific fatty acids that lubricate your cardiovascular system. And here is why your heart's health is essentially your kidneys' health. Your kidneys require a massive, steady flow of pressurized blood to filter waste. If your arteries are stiff and inflamed, your kidneys slowly suffocate from a lack of oxygen. The fats in sardines act like a chemical solvent, reducing arterial stiffness and ensuring a rushing river of oxygenated blood reaches your renal arteries. But wait, there is a massive catch you need to be aware of. If you buy the wrong tin of sardines, you might actually trigger a kidney stone. You must explicitly seek out sardines packed in spring water or organic extra virgin olive oil. Never, under any circumstances, buy them packed in soybean oil or heavy tomato sauces loaded with hidden sodium. The soybean oil triggers massive systemic inflammation, totally canceling out the benefits of the fish. Furthermore, you want to eat sardines that still have their tiny bones intact. These microbones provide a highly absorbable form of dietary calcium. And this is where the medical science gets incredibly fascinating. Many people with kidney issues avoid calcium because they fear kidney stones. But dietary calcium actually binds to oxalates in your digestive tract, preventing them from ever reaching your kidneys. Eating sardines with bones is literally building a chemical shield in your gut against kidney stones. Just mash them up with some fresh avocado and spread them on a slice of dense sourdough bread. This simple lunch could be the single most effective dietary shift you make this year. But do not get complacent, because the third fish targets a completely different mechanism of aging. Enter haddock. This is a whitefish that most people pass right by in the grocery store because it looks boring. But its boring nature is exactly why it is a medical miracle for adults over 60. When you are fighting off renal decline, your liver is intimately involved in the battle. If your liver is bogged down by processing heavy saturated fats, it cannot help your kidneys detoxify the blood. Haddock is astonishingly low in fat, delivering a pristine, uninterrupted stream of pure protein. This allows your liver to prioritize the breakdown of metabolic toxins instead of struggling to digest heavy animal lard. And this is the secret weapon against chronic fatigue. When your kidneys are failing, you feel like you are walking through wet cement every single day. This is because toxins like creatinine and blood urea nitrogen are pooling in your muscle tissue. Haddock provides the essential amino acids required to produce glutathione, your body's master antioxidant. Glutathione actively hunts down these metabolic toxins and neutralizes them before they can poison your energy centers. But here is the exact trap your doctor never warned you about. You cannot just eat haddock once a month and expect a miracle. Renal recovery requires consistency. You must replace your heavy Sunday roasts and your processed Friday night dinners with a clean haddock routine. Imagine swapping out a heavy, salt-laden meatloaf for a massive, flaky haddock fillet. You are instantly removing thousands of milligrams of sodium and dozens of grams of saturated fat from your weekly toxic load. The preparation for haddock must respect its delicate structure. Do not smother it in heavy cream sauces or processed cheeses. Those dairy products are phosphorus bombs that will immediately attack your nephrons. Instead, create a crust using crushed walnuts and a hint of smoked paprika. Bake it on a sheet of parchment paper until it flakes easily with a fork. The walnuts provide a secondary dose of plant-based omega-3s, creating a compounding effect of anti-inflammatory power. This meal is not a diet. It is a targeted biochemical intervention. Now, let us move to the fourth and perhaps the most powerful biological tool in our arsenal, mackerel. But I am not talking about the massive king mackerel that is swimming in ocean pollutants. You must specifically seek out Atlantic mackerel. This distinction is a matter of absolute survival. King mackerel is heavily contaminated, while Atlantic mackerel is clean, fast-growing, and absolutely bursting with therapeutic compounds. As we cross into our 60s, the delicate capillaries inside our kidneys become brittle. They lose their elasticity. A simple spike in blood pressure from watching a stressful news segment can actually rupture these tiny vessels. Atlantic mackerel is uniquely rich in a compound called coenzyme Q10, alongside its massive fatty acid profile. CoQ10 is an enzymatic spark plug that helps your vascular walls remain flexible and resilient. When that inevitable blood pressure spike hits, flexible capillaries stretch and adapt instead of snapping and dying. But the real nightmare starts here if you ignore the balance of your entire plate. You cannot just eat mackerel and then wash it down with a glass of sugary soda or a side of highly processed white potatoes. Carbohydrate spikes trigger insulin surges. High insulin acts like sandpaper on the inner lining of your blood vessels. To unlock the true protective power of mackerel, you must pair it with cruciferous vegetables. Steam a massive bowl of broccoli or Brussels sprouts. The sulfur compounds in these vegetables synergize with the fats in the mackerel to radically upregulate your liver's detoxification enzymes. The liver handles the heavy chemical breakdown, while the kidneys handle the physical flushing. When you pair mackerel with broccoli, you are giving both of your critical detox organs exactly what they need to function in perfect harmony. Mackerel has a very strong, assertive flavor. It tells your brain that you are eating real, nutrient-dense food. You can grill it lightly, using the fish's natural oils to prevent it from sticking to the pan. Add a squeeze of fresh lime juice right at the end to cut the richness. The vitamin C in the lime juice actually enhances the absorption of the trace minerals found in the fish meat. Everything works together in a beautiful biological symphony. But earlier, I promised you a specific cellular trigger, a strange mechanism that completely alters how your body processes these foods. And this is the mystery that 99% of health enthusiasts completely overlook. It is the concept of enzymatic pre-digestion through natural acidic marination. Listen very closely. As you age past 60, your stomach acid drops significantly. You could be eating the highest quality trout, the purest sardines, the cleanest haddock, and the most pristine mackerel, but if your stomach cannot physically break down the protein chains, they pass into your lower intestine and putrefy. This creates systemic inflammation that travels straight to your kidneys. The secret is to marinate your fish in raw, unfiltered apple cider vinegar or freshly squeezed lemon juice for exactly 20 minutes before you apply any heat. This acidic bath begins breaking down the complex protein structures outside of your body. It is essentially pre-digesting the meal. When you finally consume the fish, your weakened digestive system does not have to struggle. The amino acids slip effortlessly into your bloodstream, completely bypassing the inflammatory putrefaction process. This means your kidneys receive pure, clean fuel without the toxic byproduct of poor digestion. This 20-minute habit is the absolute difference between reversing your renal decline and quietly marching toward kidney failure. Your kidneys are begging for a break. They have filtered every mistake, every sugary drink, and every salty snack you have consumed for 6 decades. It is time to step up and take control of your cellular destiny. Start with one fish, change one meal, reclaim your health,